Hi guys, welcome to another edition of Gol Bezan. This is Pasha Hajian speaking. It's been an absolute journey. Past 4 years, we've been doing this since our 87th episode. Time flies, and I'm in the beautiful country of Spain. So please definitely check out our pictures and videos of Ciudad del Fútbol, which is a Spanish national team training camp. It was fantastic to see those players train. What they thought about the Iranian national team. We couldn't do any exclusive interviews, unfortunately, but all the pictures and everything's on our social media. We even traveled down to Portugal as well, checked out their federation and everything, and we took pictures and videos. So it's always great to have access to them, and we want to thank them for even giving us this opportunity. So in this episode, Babak Goiri, Sinai Samiyan, Pejman Pars, and Ariza Pekon, all our directors, pretty much discuss about our friendly match against Turkey, Queiroz's, decisions, if it was right or wrong, and it's just overall brief, chat. It's quite a long one, so we hope you guys enjoy it. Nonetheless, people have asked us if the Greece match friendly is officially canceled. It's canceled. We'll be playing instead against Kosovo on Sunday, which thankfully it's another friendly. That's all that matters before our last friendly, which is against Lithuania and Russia. But nonetheless, we hope you guys enjoy this latest episode of Gol Bezan. And if you guys ever wanted to reach out to us, our email is at mail@golbezanpodcast.com. If you wanted to check out our website and just personally email any of our directors or contributors, golbezanpodcast.com, and all our information is on there. Thank you, folks. Enjoy this latest episode of Gol Bezan.
Hi guys, welcome to a new episode of Gol Bezan podcast. Today we will talk only about the Iran friendly game versus Turkey that Iran lost 2-1. With me I have some great panelists in Sina Saimian, Alireza Pekkan and Babak Queiroz. Hi guys, are you ready to discuss the game?
Let's do
Hello,
it.
ready as always.
Let's do it.
Yeah, great. Okay, a quick recap in what happened. Iran played a friendly game against Turkey in Istanbul where they lost 2-1. Iran conceded an early goal, 1-0, just after 5-6 minutes by Cenk Tosun, if I'm not mistaken. And also conceded another early goal in the beginning of the second half. And just managed to score a late penalty in the 92nd minute by Ashkan Dejagat that got subbed in and played for Iran after almost a year of absence. Coming with you, Alireza Pekkan, this was a important friendly game for Iran, considering the fact that this is the only good opponent that Iran will play against before the World Cup. Although nothing bad against Lithuania, but they're simply not as good enough.
No, I agree. I think this is a very good opponent. Okay, they had 5, 6 key players that were not there, but still a quality team. I was a little bit shocked about the starting 11. It was, in my opinion, too attacking. A lot of attacking players. In my opinion, players did not. Especially the midfield, did not play at the positions that they normally play on their teams, and you saw that also in the first 20 minutes and the first 30 minutes. You saw it wasn't the team Mali that we were used to. Okay, you can do it along the Asian side, but not against a top team like Turkey.
Yeah, let's do a quick recap about the starting 11 for our listeners. In goal, we had Alireza Behramand. From left to right, we had Milad Mohammadi, Murtaza Pouraliganji, Roozbeh Cheshmi, and Ramin Rezaian. In a central defense kind of midfield, we had Ehsan Hajsafi and Masoud Shojaei. 3 offensive midfielders in Mehdi Taremi to the left. In the middle, we had Karim Ansari Fard, and on the right, Alireza Jahanbakhsh. And on top, we had Sardar Azmoun. Babak, how do you reckon the starting 11? Is this a close enough for a starting 11 against Morocco for the World Cup? I think that this lineup suggests to us that this is probably the lineup that Carlos Queiroz had in mind to start against Morocco. The main surprise for us, we probably didn't predict, was Roozbeh Cheshmi in central defense. We probably figured him playing in midfield if he was going to figure. So, in terms of the lineup before the game, this was probably what he had in mind against Morocco. But now, after the game, if he's anything like us, he should definitely have second thoughts. I mean, like Reza said, it was too imbalanced in midfield. They were lost. There was no unit at all. You had too many players playing out of position. You can get away with it against the likes of Sierra Leone or Uzbekistan, but I'm sorry, against Turkey, we're probably not even on the level of our opponents at the World Cup. You couldn't. You saw that Karim Ansari Farad. We said initially it was a cameo the first time he came on midfield. We could see what Queiroz had in mind, but it's not worked. And the more he plays there, the more you see that he doesn't know. He's not really adding to the game. He's a little bit lost over there. Then you have Masoud Shojaei, who looked out of sorts in his deep-lying playmaker role. He was dallying on the ball for too long. He was not quick to release it, and he was closed down very, very quickly. You can get away with it at number 10 when he plays further upfield, but not when you're playing number 6. And then you had attack. There was no connection. The players, Taremi almost didn't figure at all. Jahan Bakhsh looked lively. Sardar was feeding off scraps. And going back to defense, Roozbeh Cheshmi had a nightmare, and I hope we don't see him there again.
Yeah, coming to Roozbeh Cheshmi, he's been harshly criticized in this pod, and we sure know how to bash the poor guy. But Sina, do you agree with the criticism with Roozbeh Cheshmi in this game as well? I mean, he was parts of the both goals Iran conceded, but are we too harsh against him?
Look, I think he's definitely out of his depth playing at this level. But as the guys mentioned, I think having a very imbalanced midfield doesn't help. One of the things that we've always praised Queiroz for is creating a team that plays as a unit. And when you play as a unit, especially in defense, it kind of protects everyone from their vulnerabilities. Whereas on this occasion, there was none of that. There was not a single part of the game, whether we were on the ball or off the ball, in midfield, defense or attack, that I could turn around and say we played like a team. And when you leave your players individually on the pitch like that, especially players like Cheshmi who naturally have a mistake in them, then it's almost like suicide. It's the worst case scenario that you could have. And look, we're facing an opposition like Turkey who have Cenk Tosun of Everton, a Premier League striker. So the difference in quality between him and Cheshmi is huge. In the first 15 minutes, we were playing at high line, which I didn't really understand. So again, you're leaving your players to be exposed. So I'm slightly disappointed by Queiroz with his choices there. I think, okay, Cheshmi isn't the best defender, and we all know that. But what did he do to protect him from those mistakes? And I don't think he did much in that regard. And of course, playing Masoud as a number 6, he's great on the ball. He can distribute, but he always takes too long releasing that ball. And when the opposition were in possession, he was really slow to react. And when we lost the ball in transition, he should have been the first one to press the guy who won the ball, but he didn't do that. He kind of invited pressure sometimes, and he was all over the place. Which you need not your number 6 to try to protect your defenders, and there was none of that. Going forward as well, there was none of the combination moves that we saw. On the Queiroz, we usually win the ball and try to counter-attack, but we didn't really see much of that today. There's a lot that I could go on. The way we pressed, it was all shambolic all over the pitch. I was really disappointed.
Yeah, but could you say that the absence of Ezzatullahi really showed off this game? I mean, we've been quite harsh against him as well, but he's been the guy that helped the defensive players a lot, and cleaning up their mess, or not cleaning up their mess, but at least giving extra support. And we saw that Masoud isn't that kind of a guy. Coming to you, Pekan, how badly was a player like Said Izzatullahi missed in this game?
First of all, I want to ask you a question about Cheshmi. Is it fair that you are talking about him because he's not a central defender? The guy has played for years as a six and Esteghlal. He played at a tournament with the national team and the central back, but you can see that he cannot defend. He cannot defend. He will. I don't know.
He's been playing as a defender in Esteghlal as well, but then again.
If three defenders are missing.
Yeah, but the problem is that
Iran under 23s in the tournament 2 years ago. He was a centre back, and I agree with Ali Reza. He's not a centre back, but there must be a reason that there are several managers who continue to pick him as a central defender.
Yeah, but what
do they play him in a back four? How much of a back does he have in a back four? That's another question.
Iranian clubs, I mean, the clubs that he certainly played, they don't really play bodies, especially this season on the Shefer at Esteghlal. He tends to play in a back four.
But in Esteghlal, if I'm wrong, tell me. Is Majid Hosseini with Pejman, right?
Yeah, both are Esteghlal defenders.
Okay. So normally they play with Cheshmi on the six.
When Montazeri was injured, that's when Cheshmi was playing centre back.
Yeah, okay. Even if he plays centre back, I don't see the centre back that we need on the World Cup.
Absolutely, that's the bottom line there. However you want to look at it, he's not the solution. And when he dropped Jalal Hosseini from the squad, then you better have something up your sleeve. And today, the decision making was strange for me.
Yeah, and what I want to say is, normally the national team coach must select the best players at form at the time for the best positions.
Absolutely.
You cannot take Masoud Shojaei, who played a few years ago left winger, who plays at his team as a right, left, central attacking midfielder, and expect of him to play as a six like Said. It's not possible. It's not in his blood. It's not in his identity. I cannot accept it from him. Also, Esteghlal Safi will play normal left midfielder, left winger, left defender. And you play as a six. We cannot accept it.
Yes, and I think we'll come to this issue very soon. Just ending the Roozbeh topic. I think that's. I was quite surprised and shocked about the starting 11 that Cheshmi started. I saw this game like we had a couple of question marks of who will get the opportunity, the chance to play themselves into the starting 11, because we know a lot of the players such as Ehsan, Milad Mohammadi, Jahan Bakhsh, probably Osman as well. They're all, we know they will play. Maybe not Taremi. So we had Taremi and Cheshmi giving the opportunity to show that they are playing for the starting 11 against Morocco. And I think those two were the two weakest players in the game. But as you said, we're quite harsh on Cheshmi because he's not a defensive kind of guy, and against a strong Turkey, he showed that he's not the guy that you want to have a one-on-one with. So
but we're not pulling any punches. Bottom line, he made the schoolboy error for the goal where he went in on man very, very naively, and the second goal he's not closing his guy down, giving him space to take the shot. So those are two very poor defensive mistakes, and he gave away a very dangerous free kick near the end and got a booking. So he had the worst sort of performance at centre back. So
and also,
I think so.
Sorry guys, I also think Pura Genji didn't really cost off in goal either. I thought he was poorer than he usually is. I mean, we always talked about.
He was hidden. He wasn't there. He wasn't throwing himself at the
going
game.
Going back to the last podcast, one of the reasons I mentioned the Montazeri and Hosseini partnership is because in central defence you need partnerships rather than individuals. And I think the partnership between Montazeri and Majid Hosseini has worked in the past year. Montazeri is arguably our best defender. Of course, it's a toss-up between him and Kurali Ganji, and I think Hosseini, with his coolness and calmness, kind of complement. But these Greeks are huge now going forward. Of course, we have Khanzadeh to come in as well to the side, but as Bob said, definitely don't think Cheshmi should be.
But no, he's also a leader. Pejman is also a leader. We had no leader.
Yeah.
He's a leader. He will talk with the young guy. Tell him to stay good at the positions. And coming back on the question of Pejman, of course we miss Said. You see that, but I think if you work on this Cheshmi guy, he can take over the role of a six, helping central backs. He can do that. He is on the six. He played well. He can take over because Haj Safi, I don't have any trust in him also.
One of the reasons Cheshmi doesn't play central midfield at any level he's played, whether it was the young or national team level, is because he's not mobile enough. So to put a player who's not mobile at centre back, where you constantly need to change direction, change the pace of the game, you need to.
And you have two centre backs who can't turn whatsoever.
Yeah.
Just Ganji, I'm sorry, but he's not the most mobile either. He's not the quickest to turn and shift position. So you have.
Again, he was a player who initially started as number 6. So we've got two central defenders who played number 6 for their clubs until they came into the national team setup.
And you have 3 central midfielders who are not central midfielders as well. So right through the spine of the side, you have 5 players potentially, or at least 4 of them we can say, who are not natural in their positions.
Indeed. It was during the match I was watching, and Saifat came to between the central backs to pick up the ball, and I was thinking, what is happening here? What is happening here? 2 months ago, the guy plays as a striker in his club, and now he comes between the central backs to get the ball and play football, and this is not his job. And I say it again, he's the coach of the national team of Iran. He's not a club coach. He should put players on their positions, because in 3 weeks and 2.5 weeks we have got a World Cup.
Absolutely, I agree with you. There's too many players playing in different positions. It's helping. So you can't have Sarifat playing in midfield. You have Masoud experimenting as a number 6. You have Cheshmi in central defense. You have way too many players playing out of position. It's risky. It's not going to work out, because you need some sort of, let's say, units, and you don't see that. You see individuals playing, and a lot of them lost. Karim Sarifat looked lost today. We were trying to do a job, but he's a number 10. He's a number 9. He's a central striker.
But guys, then, I mean, I understand and I mostly agree with you, but we have this problem with Iran that at the moment we have too many good offensive players that they do good in their clubs in Europe mostly. So we want them to play. If not, I mean, then we have to play players like Amiri, who is a natural left player, and we saw that Mehdi Taremi didn't do anything there. But do we want Wahid Amir there instead? It's really hard to say. We saw that, as you said, Masoud was in a wrong position. But do we want Cheshmi there instead? I don't really know. Do we want Omid Ebrahimi there? Well, he's usually not as defensive as Roozbeh. So that means that we will have Omid Ebrahimi at the same position as Ehsan Haj Safi. So we have this problem that we have good players on wrong positions. But do we want to have lesser good players on the right position instead?
We created this problem. Yeah. There are players who are not with the squad. They can play in that position.
Yeah, I was just about to say he's created that problem for himself.
Yeah, we have
Ali Karimi was injured a couple of weeks ago, but he didn't replace him. I was expecting Ahmad Abdullahzadeh at least to make the squad. Not a player that would start, but at least you have options there that can fill in that position. Now, for example, God forbid, if Izzatullah gets injured, or Shojaei even gets injured, who's going to play that number 6 role? He's left himself with a lot of problems.
The balance, the squad doesn't have a balance. It's just way too imbalanced. too many top heavy at the front end. You have great players, but you can't feed them all. Play 5 of them, and by playing 2 of them in midfield, it just doesn't make sense. You have to find the balance. I prefer Omid Ebrahimi starting than to see this sort of performance again. So at least I will feel specialist players in those positions.
Yeah, let's say that Kamyamina was not injured. Okay, would he have chosen? Would you bring him with him?
Yeah, he would, I think he would have. Ali Karimi, he would have brought him.
And Kamyamina?
Yeah, Karimi.
Kamyamina, it was a player that I said, he should at least look at. Is the closest we can get to Teimourian. But
of course, yeah.
He didn't even invite him to the
but we can't change the squad, but at least we can talk about what should be the lineup. We've been talking a lot. We've been predicting the starting lineup in the last few last few pods, but I think the reality is we have based it on what we think Queiroz would do, not rather than what he should do. Looking at today, I hope he had a wake-up call and he reacts to it, and a few players lose their spots in the starting lineup.
Thank you, Babak.
Sorry, just last one. But the way he selected the squad is, he's almost forcing us to think like him. Because if you don't play, for example, Shojaei number 6 or Ibrahim, who else are you going to play that?
Totally agreeing. But it's not a solution to play 5 in the back.
Guys, what positive remarks can we take from this game? Going with you, Sina.
What's that? Sorry, positive points, did you say?
Yeah, exactly.
I think Bayroman had a decent game. I thought of the second goal, he was poor. I think he was indecisive, which is again something that we've pointed out so much about him. Being indecisive, not making a decision, and we saw that he was coming out. He decided to stay in, and then it was a good finish by Tosun, but I thought Bayram should have done better on his near post. But apart from that, he made some really good saves, I thought. Milad Mohammadi, as usual, very reliable. I thought he was better in second half than he was in the first half. He was a lot more involved. And look, it was a very poor game, but I thought Jahanbakhsh actually played better than he usually did for Iran. And I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, and Babak, you also tweeted out that Jahanbakhsh is above the rest of the Iranian players in form of quality. Could you please explain what you mean by that?
I think when the players looked a little bit lost in the early stages of the game, Jahanbakhsh still looked a little bit calm, composed. He knew what his role was. He was to take the game to Turkey. He was our most dangerous outlet, I think. He looked threatening every time he got the ball, either trying to... I think it was him who laid one off to Ehsan Hajsafi in the first half as well. It was a very good pass. In the second half, even, he had some good control down the touchline. He had a couple of good shots in the first half to get us back into the game and give us a little bit of, let's say, forward momentum. Overall, I think in the last couple of games, Jahanbakhsh has looked like he's bringing his club mentality or club form into the national side. He looks like he feels he belongs here. He was trying too hard in the past, but I think he feels more confident and comfortable.
Alireza Pekan, do you want to take out something positive from this game?
The positive thing is Queiroz is not sleeping anymore. You have seen it. How it went the match, and he knows that there's a lot of work to do. Morocco is a strong side. They're very fast and technical players. We cannot defend like this and be so disorganized. Like Babak said, we must play as a unit, and he has to find out how it's going to happen. I think we must have a strong defending six players, and that's the only thing that we can perform against Morocco. But the good thing is, Queiroz knows, he has learned, I hope, from this match, and that's it.
Pejman, I have a question for you. Don't you think that we have, during the last couple of years, moved a little bit further and further away away from what makes us really strong, which was our compact defensive unit.
Yes.
Yes, we have moved more and more away from it. Today we played this high line. For me, it was shocking. Early stages, we're completely wide open. Pejman, don't you think we need to go back to basics, maybe?
I think this is one of the problems with playing in Asia against weaker teams. Because when you play against Uzbekistan and all of the other teams, Iran is expected. Iran can afford to put a high pressure because we know that the Uzbeks will have trouble with it, and even if they succeed, then they have the next line with the defenders that would cause trouble for them. So that makes us kind of like a false statement that Iran can do that against stronger teams, and we saw that now against Turkey, that Iran is not able to have this high pressure against a team that could easily, with 1 and 2 passes, just go past the Iranian high pressure, making them really vulnerable and creating really big gaps both in the midfield and also behind the defenders. So I do believe, to answer your question, I do believe that Iran needs to concentrate in what they do best when they play against stronger teams. Play a solid defense. Don't take any risk with the high pressure, but they should keep the high pressure. But don't sell themselves so easily that they did now. It was so easy for Turkey to just go past 1-2 players and make sure that the counterattacks are effective. Because I only saw now long balls, high balls to the left and right, and none of them had a good address, so they had some problem there. So I think we need to go back to basics, but we should not forget what makes Iran strong as well. But that's the problem with playing against weaker teams. And Turkey gave us Iran a good lesson today, and that's why I also agree with Ali Reza Pekkan that Queiroz got a wake-up call today on how to create a team against stronger nations such as Turkey.
I think we need to give Turkey a bit more credit as well, because I thought they got their tactics spot on. I think they did everything to, of course, make the most out of our weak points, but especially when we were in possession, they were forcing us to go along. They were closing out the channels in midfield, so we couldn't really pass the ball from the back to our midfield, and then we always struggled against the back four. I don't know if you guys remember the game against China. We didn't score away from home, and then we scored a fluky goal at home against them. It was specifically because of that.
But our tactics were wrong. We were too exposed. The gaps between our players were too much. You had the goalkeeper, you had the center back dropping to collect the ball. Maybe Masoud was coming, but then we were forced to play long balls. It wasn't like we had our midfield three coming deep to try to create a compact unit.
But
yes,
again,
I agree.
That was forced upon us, because I think that might have been one of the reasons why he started with the high line, to make sure we can, pass the ball around. But of course, after the catastrophe in the first 20 minutes, then he had to go deeper, which means, as you said, the gaps would have been longer. So again, I think Turkey deserves a little bit more credit. But of course, we were really poor. But I think that was also, some parts of it was caused by the fact that Turkey were really good with the tactical discipline.
But we also didn't. What I didn't like, we didn't look like we were reacting to what we were seeing on TV. We were not making changes. It took us a long time to let's say, try to influence the game in the first half. And then in the second half, we seemed content with the way things were going. Other than the substitutions, we didn't try to mix things around or try to counter Turkey's tactics. It was just a little too passive. Queiroz seemed, to me at least.
Guys, so this was Iran's wake-up call. So we're glad that it happened now 2-3 weeks before the World Cup. Iran have to face Lithuania in June, because the Greece game doesn't seem to happen. Let's see if there'll be a magic trick and Iran will play against Greece.
It's not sure. I have heard from some people who are involved that they have contracts, and it's difficult to not play it, because there's a big fine on it. So I don't know.
Hopefully you're right, because Iran needs another good opponent to to try these errors or to correct these errors that they
Yeah,
have.
but I don't think Greece is going to be a good opponent for us for the World Cup because they are also not the type of team that we will play against in the World Cup. So I don't know.
I don't know
Yeah.
if I agree with you because it's hard to say how the teams will play. I mean, the teams such as Portugal and Spain, they're no longer like one kind of tactic. They can have 2, 3, 4 different type of tactics depending on how the game.
No, but
will be.
they will control the game. All the three, I think, all the three opponents of ours,
Yeah.
they will control the game.
Correct. I
Also,
think so.
Morocco, they will control the game. They have the quality to control it.
So at the very least, we can set up to be defending against these sides. Like today, I would have wanted us to play compact, deep, close the spaces, and then play them on the counter attack. The same thing against Greece. Even if Greece is not normally a team that takes the game, we need to set ourselves up to force them to take the game to us. Since they're, I don't know if it's in Istanbul or in Greece, but we should force our opponents during these games to take the game to us so that we can set up at the World Cup. Otherwise, there's no point for us to try to take the game to Lithuania when we know that we're not going to have that scenario in the World Cup whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm speaking with some other agents and journalists here in Europe, and they say, okay, you have really good attacking players in Iran, and their competitions they're doing well. One's top scorer here, the other there, and you have really decent players, and but you have no defenders. I don't see any good defenders. But if I tell them normally we have better defenders than attackers, they don't believe me. The identity of Iranian football is the counter-attack.
Also, guys, I think one of the things that was kind of proven to us today as well is the fact that an early goal is almost, we're dead and buried. I think.
Yeah, we are not used to it. We cannot make the game.
Yeah, any game plan we would have had, any game plan Queiroz would have had, would have been dead and buried in that first minute because of the early goal.
So that's why you need to minimize the chance of that early goal, Sina.
Yeah,
we know that when was the last time we came? So we played into their hands. We were just too exposed. Very simple. And honestly speaking, it's happened a lot of times in the last year or year and a half. And I felt that we've gone farther and farther away from our defensive strengths. And we have been quite a bit lucky as well, not conceding the first goal in a lot of matches. Maybe it's because it's an Asian football. The opponents or the strikers are not as clinical. But you see with a half-decent striker like Tosun, you can't give away these chances. So conceding the first goal against Portugal or Spain is probably game over, and against Morocco probably means that the best we can get out of it is a draw. So we have to make sure the first 15 minutes, 20 minutes of the game is tight and slow.
Guys, let's talk about a major surprise that Ashkan Dejaga actually played football. His last game for the national team, if I'm not mistaken, was almost a year ago when Iran qualified for the World Cup against Uzbekistan. And then he played 20 minutes for Nottingham Forest in the championship, and that's it. But he made a strong 20 minutes in this game. When he had the ball, he made some smart plays, some good decisions. You can see that he's got the touch, and that's nothing that will disappear with the injury. But then you have other things like the pace and getting in the right mood and getting that confidence back. He also scored a penalty and made a really bad shot in the last dying seconds. But is Ashkan all of a sudden a player for the starting 11 against Morocco? What do you say, Bobak?
I think that the players were so poor that Ashkan's cameo looked impressive enough to suggest this, but for me, he won't be able to last 60 minutes. So could we take the risk of starting another player who's either unfit or out of position? I probably wouldn't. Hopefully in the next 2 games he gets more minutes, but then where is he going to play? Does that mean we're going to play him as a number 10? Or are we going to try him deeper like we've been trying with Masoud, for example? So I don't know. I'm happy that he's back, but if he can prove his fitness, I would keep him in the 23, but I really don't know.
Sina, how about having Ashkan as number 10 and moving Karim to the left side and getting Tarim out of the starting 11? Then we would have a more offensive Karim that's used to play on the left side, and Ashkan used to play as number 10. Is that something that you can see happen?
And then we'd have Safi as a number 6.
Yeah, Safi will play his position.
No, Safi would be 8 and Masoud would be 6, for example. That's the first game.
I'm not. It's mostly because of his fitness.
Sina, sorry, can you
how long can he last?
Sina.
50, 60 minutes. So that's basically one substitution gone if he starts the game. But I think, as you said, when he came on, and some others as well, you can tell they've had, a European football education. Let's say they were intelligent on the ball. They weren't making any needless running. Of course, we know Dejaga's fitness is questionable, but he was always there to receive the ball and give it, and as well as Queiroz as well. He was trying to get involved as much as he could. I'm not sure if Dejaga will be a starter, but I think he's a good fresh pair of legs to come on for the last 15-20 minutes of the game. But yeah, I don't know what the rest of the guys think.
Babak?
I would keep him more on substitute bench impact player coming in when they're a little bit tired. I just don't feel we can afford to give away substitution from the outset. So at this moment, I would just give him more minutes to try to get better, and then look at the game plan as a potential game changer coming on. But I speaking about coming on, Vahid Amiri came on. The only logic I saw to him playing central midfield was that he's left-footed and to try to give a little bit more balance to that central midfield. But what was that about?
Yeah.
I think that also means Queiroz wouldn't be playing in a central role. So some people have been suggesting the fact that Queiroz played out wide, left wing, and Amiri played the left side of the midfield three. I think that's an indication that Queiroz won't be playing in that central midfield role at all.
Alireza, do you, of the guys that came in the second half, all substitutions, do you think any of them did good enough to get closer to the starting 11?
That was a poor match. I cannot say, okay, he was better and he was playing well. It was a poor match also. No, I cannot say, but in my opinion, someone has a good season. I would let him start above Taremi. He can
also,
play.
Guys, sorry, we still have, just think about the fact that we still have one more play to cut as well. So we still have one of those plays to be cut. So yeah, I've always said it's going to be Rolizade or Taremi, because I don't see either of them really make that much of a difference.
I also think he will choose for Rolizade. I hope because I hope he will keep Rolizade because he can also play at the left back. He's a good player, but
then again we have a player out of position, and bringing someone as Rolizade, I think if we're talking about risks, I think Rolizade would be an even bigger risk than all of those guys combined. For me, Rolizade, he's more got good technique. He's not afraid to dribble, but we'll see how that works against Portugal and Spain, because maybe he won't even get that kind of chance. And do we really want to see Rolizade getting high pressure from I don't know, like Isco or anyone else?
Yeah, but I follow Rolizade since the Under-17 World Cup. Because at that moment there were several clubs interested in him, so I keep following him a little bit. He has played a lot on the left back, and he was really a decent player. So I don't think if you say it's not his position, he has played there. He is left back. In the last two and a half years, he's playing left winger. So I think he will do well.
Guys, we need to talk about Rami Rezaeian. I'll leave that for you to discuss.
Okay, let me start. Ramin, as just as the rest of the national team, the defenders had a tough night tonight. For me, Ramin, his qualities are running with the ball, doing good in the offense, but in the defense, although I think he's improved the last year playing in Belgium, he's that kind of guy that he needs support, and he needs those kind of players like Omid Ebrahimi, like maybe Ali Karimi, like Said Ezatolai, helping him, making that he's not alone. Or if you have a player like Pour Ali Ganji next to him, Pour Ali Ganji is not that kind of player that can give that kind of support. So Ramin is lonely too often, and I think if the team, if Iran's opponents want to attack, they usually would come from the left side, or Iran's right side, where Ramin is. But now that they see that we're wide open in the midfield because we don't have Said there, and we have Masoud there instead, we have given them more opportunities to attack Iran. So I know where you're going, Sina. The Ramin bashing. I think he wasn't worse than anyone else, to be honest.
No, it wasn't. It's not much of a bashing. I just think he has the same problems as he always has. When he's on the ball, he's too heads down. He's too slow to releasing the ball. Again, problem that maybe
he's physically not strong. There was a point he got brushed the ball like a feather.
And also, when he's trying to make tackles, he's too rash. He doesn't know when to step in, when to take a step back, maybe jockey the attacker. It's worrying. It's worrying because you don't want him on a one-on-one with the
he commits too early. He commits too early.
But he's going to start for 100% against Morocco.
Yeah, but I feel Khanzadeh might start in the right.
Yeah, but if you will do the suicide, you cannot let him play against Amrabat. Amrabat is he has a speed, he has a strength.
Yeah, maybe not in that game.
Yeah,
maybe
he will eat Khanzadeh.
Look, I think Ramin will start and Khanzadeh may finish the World Cup.
Yeah, that can be. But Ramin should play against Amrabat because he also they're two the same players who run a lot and work a lot, and I think he can beat him, Ramin Rezaeian. But if he put Khanzadeh on the right back, it's gonna be very difficult against Northern Amrabat.
Too many questions from this friendly. I mean, too many uncertainties have just popped up.
Yeah. Yes, this is something the coach has to do something about it. He has the experience, he has the players. But to be honest, he has the quality. He knows what he's doing. And at the World Cup, we will see another national team. This is the start of something. He will finish it good. So I think against Morocco, he will. I think maybe he will also change the strategy. That we play with a counter attack. So it's gonna be good.
He's done it before. He's got us guessing, and then he completely turned it around 180 degrees with different tactics and different players. So, I mean, the only thing I can say is Carlos Queiroz is not a stupid man. He sees what we see, and okay, maybe he looks at things from another angle, but he cannot deny to himself Roozbeh Cheshmi worked at centre back, or Masoud Shojaei worked at number 6, or he sees the same problems. He saw Karim a little bit lost, and I don't think he's going to keep the same starting lineup. I think today what it did mostly exposed a lot of holes in our team. At least one or two of them will be changed. I just can't see the same lineup. It doesn't, unless they do something really special in training to suggest that this was a one-off.
Yeah, the only thing I hope is that Carlos Queiroz needs to stop with his own little boys, to let them play and let them make minutes in the World Cup. He must.
Who are these little boys?
People know. People that volleyball now.
Guys,
He should let the decent players play, and not always choose for the same players that have no quality.
guys. You have a lot of interesting points. I just want to a final short discussion topic, and that's Sardar Azmoun. For me, he was the most interesting player for Iran. You could clearly see that every time he got the ball, he wanted to do something offensive. He wanted to do something that could create an opportunity or a goal, and he almost got a goal, stealing the ball from the Turkish goalkeeper. Just quick, we start from you, Sina. Did How did you rate Sardar Azmoun against Turkey?
Yeah, as you said, I thought he was trying to carve a few opportunities from almost nothing. But again, he was feeding on scraps. There was not much opportunities being created. There was not a lot of chances, and even if there was, he almost created it for himself, like the chance that he had at the end when he almost stole the ball off the goalkeeper. So again, he was working really hard. He was trying hard, and as Bobak mentioned in one of his tweets, I think the fact that he lasted till 80th minute is a positive point. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to judge him on this game because, as I said, we weren't really creating that many opportunities. But when he did get on the ball, I thought he was okay. He was all right.
Pekon, do you want to add anything to that?
No, I agree with him. He was not bad, but he did nothing special. It was a hard game for him, but his teammates playing too far from him, so there was no connection. So this will get better in the next matches.
Okay, guys, once again, a great episode. It's been a blast to talk to you guys about the Iranian national team. We always seem to end up discussing, if not Behraman, then Cheshmi. But it just shows that we have a lot of interesting topics to discuss ahead of World Cup. Stay tuned for more episodes of Gol Bezan. We will have a topic or a new episode again for the Lithuania game, and of course we'll be updating regularly during the World Cup and making sure that you guys get all you need from the Iranian national team. Until then, make sure to subscribe, follow us on golbezanpodcast.com, on Twitter, Golbezan, on Instagram as well, and don't hesitate to contact us, and we'll be glad to hear from you. Until then, have a lovely day.